Welcome back to another episode of the Capes and Tights podcast right here on capesandtights.com. I'm your host, Justin Soderberg. This episode is once again brought to you by our friends over at Galactic Comics and Collectibles at galacticcomicsandcollectibles.com. We welcome back Kyle Starks, comic book creator extraordinaire. He's just a wonderful artist and writer in the world of comics. This has been on multiple times, but this time he came on to talk about the sequel to his book, Where Monsters Lie. This one's called Where Monsters Lie, Cull-de-Sac, as well as to talk about his newer series, Those Not Afraid, over at Dark Horse Comics, as well as so much more. Kyle's also known for his work on Rick and Morty, I Hate This Place, Peacemaker Tries Hard, a couple of books over at Marvel and DC, like Lobo and the animal-related books over there and stuff. But yeah, we talked mostly Those Not Afraid, Where Monsters Lie, his love for and passion for drawing dogs and cats and animals, as well as murderers and killing people. Yes, that's what you heard me right. But yeah, this is Kyle Starks talking on the Case and Tights podcast. But before you do, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, all those places. You can also rate, review, subscribe over on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find our video portion of this podcast over on YouTube. And as always, check out capesandtights.com for so much more. This is comic book creator Kyle Starks on the Capes and Tights podcast. Enjoy, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast, Kyle. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. It's always good to be asked back.
Yes.
It's always good to be somewhere.
it's a good.
What I say.
Well, I ran out of guess. That's what it was. I needed to go back to the well. That's what it was.
Perfect. I'm glad I was literally at the top of that list then.
top of the well.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Whenever the new lap begins, get Kyle Starks. That's what we say.
That's how it is. It is, Caitlin, that Dark Horse is like, are you sure you want Kyle, or you know?
Caitlin, no, that's not what she said. She said you want a good guest?
Yes,
I got
Kyle's. Yes, exactly. No, you've been busy for the past. I mean, it was about like last July. I think you were back on with Ryan Brown talking about Barfly, but you've been busy since then. You've got the sequel to Where Monsters Lie came out. You got Those Not Afraid came out. You did some pet things at Marvel. You did Lobo. Yeah, you've been pretty busy. I mean, it's been a lot going on. How's it been?
I got nothing now. Just hanging out, waiting for people to invite me on the podcast.
Yeah. No, you got Kill Them All hardcover, deluxe hardcover comes out, right? So you got to promote that. You're not working on it, but it's coming out. I mean,
yeah. Well, we got Barfly. Barfly just came out in trade.
Yep.
Where Monsters Lie Volume 2 is about to come out. The hardcover is very exciting. I haven't heard any details on that. There's an I Hate This Place video game that's kind of not the video game. I got stuff coming out later. Those Not Afraid just wrapped up.
Yep.
So I spent the last 8 months working on a project that won't be announced until San Diego and doesn't come out until November. It's like, well, that's kind of a whammy. I'm doing another book at Dark Horse. That's, I think, one issue's done. So it's like right now, man, it's like kind of a holding pattern. It's a weird little period for my life. So he's so busy. I'm like, was I? That was great. I need to be busy again.
You back to that again. No. Yeah, I mean, We're Monsters Lie, the 4-issue series, the sequel just wrapped up in February, and then Those Not Afraid just wrapped up in April. Those two trades are coming out this summer, which is pretty fantastic. I just got the trade PDF sent to me from Caitlin this past week, and it was fun to read it all again straight through, which is a lot different and stuff like that. So we figured two things out. You like pets and you like killing people. Is your MO?
Yeah, pets and
murder,
violence. Yeah, violence.
And not in the same place. Like they're in separate avenues. It's not even like they cross over that much. It's just, I mean, there's pets in your things, but like, pets aren't really violent against each other really in your stuff. But
I don't like that. I like for all the animals to be friends.
Yes.
They're our friends. They're our friends and they're each other's friends. I don't think I've had like an evil pet. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that. That's upsetting to me.
But it's actually kind of fun. Like killing things is just what you like to do. Murder,
Yeah, I do like that. Not to do personally, but I like it for my entertainment.
Listen, people will always be like
whenever
Kyle, I
the
never saw him doing that. He usually wrote about it in his comics, but I never actually saw
but
him
he
killing
wrote about it
people.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him on a watch list. It's always curious whenever there's like a spotlight put on like the things that you do over and over, and you go, "Oh yeah, I guess I do that." When I was very early and not very early in my career, but the first couple of years, I did Sexcastle, I did Kill Them All, which are Hitman books, and
Yeah.
then I was about to do another book, and my wife goes, "Is this a guy Hitman in it?" And I'm like, "What? Why do you have to?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Could you do one without a hitman?" I was like, "Maybe.
Yeah.
Why would I want to?" It's like the same thing with dogs. I did
Yeah.
a whole year. I did Marvel Unleashed, I made D Dog for Marvel. I did
Hmm.
Peacemaker Tries Hard, where I made Bruce Wayne the Frenchie for the DC universe. Then I did Wild Dog, which wasn't a dog per se, but here I am still doing a dog thing. And then I
Yeah.
did Who Woofs the Wolfman for DC. What a proud moment of my life. That'll go on the gravestone probably. So it's like, oh, I was like maybe I should take some time off from pets.
Yeah.
And I will say, oh, Where Monsters Lie has Baphomet in it. Like
Yeah.
everything has a dog
Yeah.
in it. And uh the next book does not have a pet in it.
You see, you're gonna
Those not
disappoint
those
your
not those not
fans.
afraid doesn't have a pet in it.
Nope. Nope.
But just give me a minute, you know.
It's a lot of
Just give me a
killing in
minute.
it, but
They'll be back.
I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was fun. I thought, I'm super pumped for the sequel to Weird Monsters Lie because it was one of my favorite comics a few years ago. So I was so happy about that and having it come back and how it's the same thing where I loved it so much where I'm like, how are you going to be able to do this? Like I just read Patrick Horvath's first issue of
Yeah.
Beneath the Trees, and I'm like, how the hell is he gonna like catch lightning in a bottle again? And I'm like, holy shit! After I read it, I was like, oh, he did it. It's done. He did it
Yeah.
well. It's the same thing I felt with Weird Monsters Lie. I'm like, how are you gonna do that again? How are you gonna do this again to me? And I read first issue, second issue. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then I finished the series, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, he did it again. I don't know how he did it again. I had no faith in you, Kyle, for some weird reason.
No, that's okay. I don't. I think maybe the buyers didn't either. Hopefully, this interview changes their minds. I don't think. I don't think that sold out as quite as well as I'd like. But I think that it's not a fault of the book. You know, what's funny is like when I started, I was like, oh, let's do another one because it was so popular, and I think it's popular because it's good. I think Where Monsters Lie is a very easy concept. You know, gated communities for slasher
Mhm.
monsters where they
Mhm.
go between movies, basically. Where's Chucky go?
Yeah.
Like he just hiding in a trash can? No way. He's got to take his girlfriend to get chicken nuggets somewhere. Like I was like, what is the logistics of like? Is she in the trunk? I don't know, man. I just like the Saw Man. Whenever I watch the Saw movies, I was like, that guy's not digging his syringe pit.
You
You know what
know.
I mean? There's no way. He's got to have a contractor come in there. Just like
Yeah.
who are these people who help these people out? And just the idea of like, well, the Saw Man when he's not killing people, he probably just like loves video games or something.
Yep.
Like he's just kind of a regular guy who just loves murdering. I'm so fascinated with that, but I think it's something that like the idea that these monsters are very relatable is
Mm.
interesting, and the fact that there's a place where they go and they still have to mow their lawns is very interesting. So I think it's a very relatable concept. And the first one sold out. Every issue sold out at the distributor level. It was a huge
Yeah.
success, which we love. And when I was like, oh, we're gonna do another one, and I started building this like very fancy, very like elaborate sort of follow up. And I'm as I was just like, what am I doing? It's a horror movie.
Mhm.
We just want a bad sequel. And so
Yes.
I threw all that away and I was like, I'm just gonna make a bad sequel where it's the same stuff, but slightly different. And you try to increase
Yeah.
the stakes a little bit, and that's what we did. So there's all new monsters and Special Agent Connor Hayes, who is basically Batman if Jason killed Bruce Wayne's parents instead of just some random mugger.
Yeah.
He spent his entire life training and preparing to fight monsters in revenge for his mother, and I think his sister being killed by basically Jason.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just like what are we doing? It's a horror movie. We want a sequel. We want a
Yeah.
bad sequel, and so that's what we did. I hate to pull the curtain back on how it wasn't that hard. Just
You
like
know.
having fun. Like that's really like to me like the primary thing is like with Where Monsters Lie is like it has to be fun. Like I have
Yes.
to have fun. If I'm not having fun making it, it's wrong. It's not going to be right. And so that one thing I was doing. It's like there's magical weapons or something. I was like, get rid of that. We don't need that stuff. We just want to see more monsters
Yeah.
being dumb.
And visualized really well
Did
by
it.
Peter Kowalski again. Like I absolutely love that person's artwork. It's just phenomenal. It fits the book so well.
Yeah, he's a great fit.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was, and obviously Dark Horse was obviously smart about. They were like, oh, you sold so well, let's do a second series. They didn't. You didn't have to convince them, I don't think.
No, we can circle around to that later
I'm sure
though.
at this point, are they ready for volume three or no? No, not this time.
They're not because it didn't sell. I mean, we could have this later. Or we can do it. We can do it
No,
now. It
no,
didn't.
that's
No,
fine.
no. So well, I mean, it's relevant. It's relevant.
Yeah,
No, volume two didn't sell great, and you go volume one sold out. Like, what happened? Was there not the promotion? It was. Who knows, right? Like, there's no.
hmm
Is it just the state of the? I think promotion was a lot of it. I hand promoted it to stores, and I didn't for this one. Was it that there was almost a year between
hmm
the first four and the second four, but it sold out. I think the stores would
yeah,
impress anyway. So we're like, hey, we're ready for volume three. Everyone loves it. Everyone who's read it loved it, which is the
yeah,
Kyle Stark story. Does not know people read it.
yes,
The Kyle Stark's curse is like, oh, they really like it, but how many people read it? 32. That's not great. Um, so Peter says he's like, I really want to do it, and I'm like, well, we want to wrap it up because
yeah,
there's always a
yeah,
plan. And if two had sold out wildly, then we were like, oh, what's like volume four? They go to space because that's what you
yeah.
have to do with like
Oh yeah,
when you jump the shark. Yeah. So I was like, I really want to do it too. I love these characters. I want it to be finalized. I want to see where it goes. And so what we're doing, this is breaking news. This has not been announced anywhere. What we're going to do is in August, we're going to do a Kickstarter for a one-shot finale to Where Monsters Lie. It'll be a 48 issue one-shot. God willing, we raise the money necessary because I have to pay an entire professional creative team to
yes,
make this and then pay for the printing. So it's a little, it's not a big number, but it's a big number if you have to get it. So I'm very excited about it. It's going to be called Dead End. They maybe go to Japan. They maybe go to hell. It's going to be pretty good.
you have to find out when you back the Kickstarter. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm glad. The funny thing about to me and like the Kickstarters, I'm like I just got my Traveling to Mars Kickstarter, and I feel like it took like 6 years for me to get it. I don't know why. It just felt so long. It probably wasn't
I,
that long, but it just felt so long.
I'll say like that type of thing makes me very anxious.
Yeah.
I've done 4 Kickstarters, and the way that they were mine that I drew, which was Sexcastle, Kill Them All, Old Head, and Legend of Ricky Thunder, which was my first
Yes.
one. Um, and the way that I did those is that they were done. So
Yeah.
there was a 60-day turnaround, which is when for me in my heart and soul, I go, well, when I do Kickstarter, I don't necessarily want to make something exist. I want to purchase a product.
Yeah.
But certainly the way that Kickstarter is built is that to allot this opportunity, Dark Horse cannot justify spending
Yes.
what it costs to pay Peter and me and Vladimir Popov and our great letter and our
Yeah.
great designers to do things. It's like, well, they're Polish, so it's actually like not a ton of money. It's not like trying to do a Marvel book where you'd have to come
Yeah.
up with
Yeah.
a lot of money, right? It's a relatively small number, and I've broken it. It's a number I've reached every time. It
Yeah.
makes me very anxious because it's not a 200-page book or a 180-page book like
Yeah.
I've done in the past. It's a 48-page book. And we're going to do variant covers. I'm excited about it though because I think it's a really great script. I wrote it the way that Where Monsters Lie is supposed to be done, which is like I was just having fun. I was just having fun, and I was exploring these things that we love in horror movies
hmm
to try to make them sort of more character driven, or I don't want to say silly, but you know what I mean. Like that they're
Yeah.
fun. Like they're like just to think about them in a different way, and to sort of how these guys exist in those spaces, I think is very interesting. So hey, August, keep your eyes open. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll not stop talking about it because I want to do it so bad. We got to make that money.
Exactly. It's one of those things that I obviously want people to back the Kickstarter, but it's one of those things that if it does well in the Kickstarter and Dark Horse sees that, is that one of those things where they're like, oh, maybe we'll release a different like trade version or a different version of a one shot later on? Is that like an option for them to do, or
There,
is that something where
there's been a conversation about maybe doing a collection.
okay with it
In the
in it
near
maybe?
yeah, that would be in it. Yeah, assuming that it gets made. Assuming it gets made,
Yes.
it's like there's sort of 2 books. There's a theoretical omnibus from Dark Horse and the Kickstarter itself. They're very theoretical because if
Yeah.
one doesn't happen, the other one doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Well, we're gonna
super
will it into
super nerve wracking.
existence. We're gonna
We're
will it into
manifesting it.
existence right here. Right? We're gonna say, hey guys, you want to pick it up? We don't want you to spend money on anything else. If you have to skip groceries that week, you have to skip groceries that week. You just you.
We don't know.
I'm kidding.
But what's the comic cost? You can't buy eggs. No eggs this week. That's what
Yes.
the
Yes, exactly. Thanks. You can't buy a
that's
gallon of
hard.
gas. It's not,
It's hard times.
whatever it
So
is.
so everyone needs
Skip
to
someone else's comment. No, kidding. Don't do that either.
no. Well, dude,
Back
that's fine
this
with
up.
me.
Yes. Well, save
I
a,
don't care.
but it's August, so save $1 every couple of days, and you got your money. It's not
It'll be
like you're gonna
fine.
have to.
Yeah.
It's not like like you said. It's not like it's a 200-page thing. So it's not like it's gonna be a $40 item. It's gonna be
No, but
approachable. So
self-publishing. Yeah, Self-published is always a little more expensive than you
but
want, though. That's just the nature of it. So, but
it's not.
we're gonna try to make it worth it. We're gonna try to make it
Yeah.
worth it. So,
Yeah, and if you're a fan, here's the deal: there's enough the 32 fans of yours, like you
I
mentioned,
know
will hopefully back it all. So we'll be there.
that's
We'll be reporting it. You get us the details, and we'll put it out there
yeah,
too because I want people to have it. But
yeah.
I
So
was
we
like
need
excited to see more where monsters lie because I love the book so much. But then I was like, it's like you gifted us this whole Those Not Afraid book that just like honestly came out of nowhere where I was just like, oh, this book looks familiar. This is really cool. Let me grab Kyle Starks. What the hell is this? And so I
me.
was like, oh, I want to read this thing. And the premise, what's the premise? What do you explain to people what Those Not Afraid is?
Yeah, the premise is two serial killers find out that they are within range of breaking the murder record for their state. So they sort of enter into a friendly competition. I say for lovers of true crime, lovers of serial killers, I think it's a love letter to those things, which is a weird watch listy thing to say out loud. But uh, each book, I try to make the things I wish existed. And like I
Yeah.
haven't done I've done horror and I've done horror comedy, and I wanted to do something that was less comedy and more sort of true crimey.
Hmm.
I love true crime. I want to make something that was friendly to anyone who likes true crime, that doesn't gatekeep it because it's comics or because of someone's gender or whatever, which I think we have maybe too much of.
Yeah.
So I just want to make a fun serial killer book. That's like anyone does, like anyone wants to
Yeah.
do, just a fun serial killer book about friendship and betrayal and lies and murders.
Yes. And that's just what you get. It's cool because to me it doesn't take itself extremely serious. It still has that comedy edge to it. So it's like there's moments where you're like, who the hell would ever like come up with this idea? And it's like, oh yeah, Kyle Starks did.
Uh,
Obviously Kyle did. Yeah, it's off the wall a little bit there though. No, but it has that. And I'm obviously as a podcaster, I was like, oh, I love that little twist that you
yeah.
have in there and sense in the comic. So it was a fun new killing spree type book from Kyle Starks, and I was super pumped to read it. And I'm so glad that it was 4 issues, which is approachable to me, and easy to get through. And I was so pumped about it. So I was glad it came out. Is that one been received pretty well from your fans and from the readers?
Yeah, again, I exist in a vacuum, so it's like I
Yeah.
only know what I know. I just did a little show in Middle Indiana, and I know the store there was like, we sell out of it, like we love it, like, and that's
Mhm.
that's the trick every time, right? Is like, that's great for everyone I know. Again, people who I know read it have said that they liked it. The Kyle Strikes Curse. So
Yes.
I think it's fun. I think it's a fun book. I think comics should be fun. It's so funny whenever you're like, it's still kind of silly. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like it's not. I feel like I'm trying to get. It's like the least silly, but it's like everyone's so
Yes.
charming. There's just something about
Yeah.
the way I'm bad at not having charming characters, and charming to me is always a little funny. So even when, like, the Ted Bundy character is doing something super
Yes.
evil, he's kind of doing it with like a wink and a smile in a
Yeah.
way that I want you to kind of like these serial killers,
Yes.
which is also messed up.
Well, I
That's not
understand that. Like, I understand that. Like, Kirkman created like Negan and characters like that, so you'd also like hate them, but also like them. So it's not like I can understand that.
we're
Like, I don't.
trying.
If it was so dark and so strictly serious, and so I'd be like, I am a sick person for really enjoying this
Yeah,
book right now. But because there is a slightly lightheartedness to it, it was like, okay, this is a comic book. This is entertainment. This is not real. This is not based on a true story. This is based on a
right.
fictionalization of what could happen in a world we live in. And so like I like that aspect of it. So that's why I was like, yeah. And it's the same thing you mentioned. It's like, you don't always go for comedy, but you end up winning. You
It's
haven't won
bad.
an Eisner for it. You haven't been nominated for 3 Eisners for it, but
Three. One, you know what? I don't even want to win at this point. I just want the nominations. I just want to pile them up like Susan Lucci. Like,
yes.
how many how
Well,
many how many does Starks have? 72. How many has he won?
yeah,
Not
none.
a not a
Well, at
one.
that point, do you stop doing that, right? You don't do 3 times nominated, 1 time winner. You just say winner, Eisner winner. So you end up
Yeah,
losing the number of
I know.
nominations go away when you win it. So like if you could just keep those going, 10-time Eisner nominated winner or nominated Kyle
Yeah.
Starks,
At some
right?
point, like that number, people go, did you say he nominated? 32-time nominated? That's where I should be at now. Let's count the books. One,
Yeah,
two,
exactly.
three. There's a
I mean,
bunch back
you
there.
have to write 32 more books to get the nominations in there.
I
So that's
know.
you're not
I'm
doing
saying I
anything
should have
right
already
now.
had.
So yeah.
I should have already had many. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, so with where did the idea, you said you wanted to will these things into existence. Well, where did the idea for this specific Those Not Afraid come from? Did you have this idea like in the basket for a while there and you just decided to pull it out and start writing it,
No,
or was this something that
no,
came
not
to
yeah, not that one. I mean, it's not like alchemy. Like it's generally like for almost anything, it's going to be like, well, I was really into this at that time, right?
Mhm.
At that time, I was really into, we'll say dogs again because I'm
Yeah.
always kind of into dogs. It's like, of course, I'm doing dog stuff. Like I'm crazy about dogs right now, but
Mhm.
I go through. I've been in, and I'm sort of now I'm sort of on the back end of it, probably because I haven't been doing a lot of horror recently. I've been doing this secret projects and
Yeah.
Wolfman and whatnot. But I was very deep into horror and true crime because I love them. And the true crime stuff, like, uh, especially, it's just something about serial killers that's so disturbing and fascinating, and all of them. And I was way into that, and it's like it's that thing that you do is you go, I'd love to tell a story with this. What's the story that interests me? And it's not. It's like, well, you want more than one. I don't want to do like just one guy. It's like, well, what are two? Like, what's their deal? And who are they? It's like, oh, who are your favorites? And you kind of mash them all together, and so that's where it comes from. It's just like I go, oh, I really want to do something true crimey, which
Mhm.
means serial killers to me. Other people would not. They'd be like, no, you could do like a forensic files. I'm like, no, I like serial killers because serial killers are like vampires. They're just like it's a good monster to play with. And the thing is like, what's the story for me? What do they do that's interesting outside of the fact that they do this thing?
Mhm.
Um, and then how do you do it in a way like they be the main character because they're kind of not like the main character is kind of a podcaster,
Yeah.
um, but she's also kind of like the Greek chorus of sort of like letting like walking you through so we don't have to show like every little thing and stuff like that. Like that's interesting to me because how do you do a true crime book in 2024, 2025, and not have podcasting be a part of it somehow?
Yeah.
Because I think it's such a huge part of it right now and of that culture and yeah, you just try to and you put all the stuff in there that you want. Like I love a disgraced dad who redeems himself in his daughter's eyes, which is the former sheriff. He's a former sheriff
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously these two guys are killing everyone all the time, and he's doing a terrible job of stopping them from killing everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
You wouldn't
like
keep your job that long if that happened in your town, probably.
no, it's not. Here's it's like it's like it's not even his fault. Like he was doing
No,
fine. It's like how do you stop it? You just can't stop these guys.
can't.
They're too good. They're too good at their jobs. Our hobby,
Did
I
you
guess,
do
our
research
hobby.
on what the most killers in a certain state are and things like that when you went to do this? Because I mean the number's pretty high in this
Yeah,
book at
and
least.
I think that number is way high compared to whatever the average one is. Um, but the thing is, I go is you have to go because I think you're putting me on the spot because this is stuff
Yeah.
from a year ago. I want to say the average number, because one, like the best serial killer has like 25 like
Yeah.
recorded kills, unless there's like there's the guy in Southern America who has like 225.
Yeah.
So usually the number is like 20, 25. But if you're entering a competition you have to be able to have them kill a lot of people. So you're like,
Yeah.
well, for people to notice that they're getting anywhere close, you go, okay, well, they're at 15. It's like, okay, well, I can only do 10 more kills. I can only
Yeah.
have them kill 10 more people before they break the record. Also, to have the previous guy have a ridiculous, which I think is 85.
Yeah.
You might know better than me. I think it's 85, which is a lot. Um, and that
Yeah. I
they're
think
close. I think they're in the 60s.
yeah.
Um, they're killing a lot of people. But you go, well, if them breaking the record is not like the point of the book, but it's like it's the thing that they've engaged each other in, and it's a finish line of sorts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, it's a finish line of sorts, and the type of thing where you could see, and there's two serial killers, you could see if you were in that business, being like, well, that's the Hall of Fame, like
Yeah.
breaking. That's the Michael Jordan scoring record. That's the
Yes.
Kareem scoring record. You know what I mean? Where you go, if I could break that, then no one can question I'm the greatest. And one of them, clearly is the type of guy who would be concerned about these things, and the other guy is just doing his thing,
Yeah.
killing people because
Hmm.
that's what he does.
Hmm.
Didn't know there was records kept, honestly, probably because he's kind of an awkward little weird man.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, no, I think the highest one is pretty low, but
Yeah.
doing the math, I was like, if I do more of these, which I would love to, but again, sales
Yeah.
decide everything,
Yeah.
and who knows? I haven't heard anything. Why would I know? I'd like to do more. And it's like, well, then if they kill 10 more people, it's like, how many people do I need to kill?
Yeah.
Or how many people do I want to kill? It's like, well, I want to kill at least like 25 between each. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
very busy. Uh, so yeah, that's the long and short. I did a bunch of research. Like I was like that stuff you can kind of fudge for dramatic sake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, yeah. And then there's like spree killing, which gets into which I was interested like in. Oh, there's differences. Like they're not
Yeah,
the same thing. A spree killing isn't a serial killer, and you go what? So it's like there's people who've killed like if spree killers number is very
yeah.
high
But
compared to
actual
serial
serial
killers.
killer, yeah, it's
Yeah,
different. Yeah,
yeah. I think again you put me on the spot, but like I think even the Night Stalker, who's like a real creepy one, it's
yeah.
not as many as you'd think.
No,
It's like 35, which is a
yeah.
lot, which is a lot.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Um,
But I was saying when I did some
yeah,
research on it too, because like Alex Cormack and Anthony Cleveland's new book, Buried Long, Long Ago, about very old women serial killer, one of the most prolific women serial killer ever. And it's like, oh, how many today? And they're like, well, possibly 44, confirmed three. It was like,
right.
that's what. So I
Yeah,
was doing some research on it too, and I was like, oh, I was wondering what this is. And I'm like, to me, I got to the point where I'm like, 5 kills? Come on. What are you,
yeah.
amateur? What's going on
I know.
here? And so it's like it's
Yeah,
not. And a lot of the ones, even the ones you know about, like the crazy big, like names, are not like 50, 60, 70 kills. It's like
yeah,
15 or 20, 25, like you mentioned.
yeah,
And so it's just kind of crazy like that. I love the fact that you put in this book that the killers found out or know each other somehow. And that's how they got to talk to each other to make this contest between each other. Because I just read a book
yeah.
by Saratoga Schaefer, a prose novel it's called Serial Killer Support Group. And it's about like how there's a support group for serial killers, and there's this one woman
Yeah,
who infiltrates the group because her sister was killed by a serial killer, so she's trying to like figure out who it is and so on and so forth. But I just love the idea that there would be like an actual serial killer support group where people would get together and like talk about like their feelings and
yeah.
things like that.
But
It
there's
brings you out of that what could be real. So that's another thing. It's like it
yeah,
breaks that. It gives me that to make me happy. Like Nailbiter is one of my favorite comic books of all time, and there's moments of that where I'm like, this is creepy and could actually be real. Like this is really
yeah,
scaring me. Whereas like there's
right.
moments in this book where I'm like, okay, I can see where I'm breaking the whole like I can sleep tonight. I'm not worried about a serial killer coming into
Yeah.
my house.
Maybe the next one. Maybe the
Yeah,
next one I'll make
but like
you
the fact that they
incredibly
know each other
uncomfortable.
was a fun twist because how many serial killers out there actually are like talk to each other on the phone or see each other at a market or something? Well,
Who's to
again, we
say?
don't know
So
that. Like,
there's a lot of stuff. Assassination does it too. I know I'm forgetting one where it's very much like I'm talking about my job. Like
yes,
I'm talking about my job. It's like it's a very isolated job. We rarely get to interact with each other. If we do, we're like, don't you want to talk about the job? Like we only want to talk about the job. So there's a lot that's very much like is me going, what if I had a friend, which I do, but you know what I mean? It's like, what if I had something I could talk about every day with this? And of course, one of them is like, don't you want to talk about it? The other one's like, I don't really care. It's like I just do this thing, and he's like,
it's good.
really? Like you don't think about it all the time. He's like I'm just killing
Just do
people.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just killing people.
yeah.
But
He's
and
like,
that's the guy who's desperate for friendship. So he's
yep.
actually like willing to enter into a relationship with someone who is clearly deranged, clearly evil, just because like well someone took an interest in my life. I think it's all very relatable. That's like, just like where monsters lie.
Yeah.
To take these things that are ridiculous and upsetting even. I mean, because we become so desensitized. They're like, what? Only five? It's like, dude, one is awful. Like one is a terrible number. Um,
Well, it's like
would
I
you
was
mind like
driving to work the other day and a bird flew in front of me and it hit my windshield a little bit. And I didn't even like thud. It just did it in a way that probably the wind caught it so strong or the
uh,
force or whatever. And it was flapping on the ground and I was starting to get like heart palpitations.
mm,
It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I almost just killed that bird. I think I killed that bird. Oh my God. What am I gonna do on the way back? Am I gonna drive over it to make sure that it's
no,
dead because
my
it's
God,
like flailing?
yeah,
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm
sure,
like, there's no way I could kill a human being. It was in
yeah,
my mind. I'm like, if I was just flipping out about a little bird flying by, let
yeah,
alone 5, 6, 10, 12, 50, 60.
yeah. You gotta want that. It's
You
messed.
really
It's
do.
messed up.
Well,
It's
I
messed
guess
up.
that the themes do cross over, and I will say that I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, Kyle Stark's comic book fans are gonna like both these books, Where Monsters Lie, and Those Not Afraid. But they also have the similarity in that idea that the killers know each other, and that
yeah,
there's this camaraderie or even discussion,
yeah.
but yeah, behind
I,
talking about their kills and so on.
I love the power of friendship. I love found family. Those are things
Hmm.
that, like I said, we were saying earlier, like the spotlight shining on. Like there's a lot of daddy issues. Like I have themes, man, and they're very clear. They're maybe too obvious, but they're
Well,
there.
so
Like so,
yeah,
friendship is powerful, and I think this is the first like a six sidekicks. Like everyone gets along pretty quickly.
yeah,
Everyone has always assassinations. Everyone gets along pretty quickly for your found families, and like this is kind of the first one where I go, well, maybe this friendship is bad though. Like
mhm.
maybe it's really bad. because it's just like being like evil dogs. Like I don't like the idea of friendships being bad, even though obviously they exist. It's like, well, we get to control this world. Like I get to have
Yeah.
murderers in lieu of having people literally killing someone. I think like almost every page in one of the books, there's like 3 or 4 a page for
Yeah.
a while. Is that hey, but friendships aren't bad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like these guys are awful, but friendship is okay. But there's a lot of pretty dire interactions relationship wise in that book that I like. I really enjoy as a true crime, horror fan, but also it's like, nah, they're all okay. They're
Yes.
like there's a romantic interest at one point that I hope people go, oh girl, like please, oh girl, please. Um,
Yes.
because that's what I do when I write. It's like, oh girl, don't. It's like, but I'm writing it. You're like, you're in
Yeah.
it now. You messed up.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
there's that in it. Like a lot of these books about serial killers or true crime or something like that. A lot of the physical killing is the focus of like
yeah,
physical, like the stalking and then
like a
killing and then
procedural.
saying
Yeah,
that
like a
yes.
procedural.
And this is more like the characters as the killers and the people around them, and less about the kills matter, but it's like a couple of panels here and there of a kill,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then it moves on. Just the number is what matters really in this book, and so that's kind of cool too. Because as the people, it's more than just the idea of the murderer and stuff. So it's like, yeah, there's a different layers to it that you would potentially not see. And it's the same thing with Where Monsters Lie. I feel like the same thing is there. There's so many layers to it. It's not just a true crime story where I did a book event in New Hampshire last week. I did a beer with Christopher Golden, the author and comic book writer, and we were releasing it in New Hampshire. And I was that night I got back to the hotel and I'm like, I just want to put something on TV. So I put something on TV and it was the True Crime Files or whatever, the Forensic Files. That's
forensic
what it
files.
was. Yes, it's just
Always.
on TV. I fell asleep to it. I'm like, this is like, but it was like one of those things where I'm like, it's about the kill and in the actual thing and less about the
Yeah,
people around them. And I think that this is quite of cool because you get to see like behind the eyes of the killer, but it's not like them stalking the person. It's literally like a panel of like a kill, and then it moves on to the next
yeah.
kill and the next kill and the
There's a
next kill, which
couple.
is
There's a couple pages. There's a
yes,
couple pages of kills, but I feel like so like I feel like the most gosh, what is how do you enter into I think the most interesting thing about serial killers is they're like, oh, they killed a bunch of people. It's always like, oh, listen to how they did it, or like
yes,
why they
yes,
did it, or what weird thing they did. And that's established. Like I don't enjoy people dying. I don't
mhm,
enjoy watching people get killed. I don't but I think when it happens for the purpose of being scary or
yeah,
making it more intense or raising the stakes in some way. Because there's a couple there's one with the sort of Ted Bundy character that's where they're in the woods, where he has a couple guys out in the woods. That isn't great, but I don't think like, I don't. I'm not. That's not my thing. I
yeah,
love the idea. Or my interest is like there's these awful people who do awful things, but they're still. I mean, they're probably not human. If we're going to be honest, there's probably a deeper conversation. But
yes,
like I said, like you know, they had to they had to go. When I say Ted Bundy, that's not even right. Ted Bundy, it's
yes.
Ted Bundy's wrong. Ted Bundy is not the right character.
No,
That Mark Andrew Smith is.
yeah,
Who anyway, it doesn't matter. Isn't that
it's a made up
upsetting?
character, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter
but
at
there's
this point.
vibes. Like there's vibes
Yeah,
because there's different types. There's like 4 different types of serial killers, and they're both two of them.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, look, I did my research. It's just gone now. I don't know why I
yeah.
guess Bundy's wrong, and I'm like the most famous one ever. Say it. It's not Dahmer. It's
Who you you asking me this question legitimately? Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna be able to answer that question.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Shit,
Who is it?
he had a Netflix. I can't think of his name. It's gonna bother me anyway. He racist. No, just gonna leave it in it. Look how dumb he is. So the thing is like we'll say Ted Bundy, who of course was like a super creep, but he still had to go by. He still went to Denny's. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's what's so interesting is like even though you have this fucked up hobby or
Yeah.
addiction or compulsions, like you still have to exist. And that's kind of what this is. And I think that's part of true crime that's really interesting is like
Mm-hmm.
no one knew, like no one
Mm-hmm.
knew that this guy was doing these things. Like, well, yeah, because he was a wedding photographer or who he was a waiter where you work, and
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like
Ted
that's what
Bundy
I think is
killed 20
interesting.
people, right? Is that what it is? Possible victims, Ted Bundy, 35 to 100, but 20 confirmed for Ted Bundy. I was just sorry. This is also Wikipedia, so I don't know if this is real or not, but I'm guessing it is. But you said there's a guy from like, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela who killed 193 people.
Oh, it is Ted Bundy is right.
Yes.
I was momentarily confused with John Wayne Gacy. I was
Okay.
momentarily
Yeah.
confused. No, it's Ted Bundy. All right, I know what I'm doing. Listen, don't come at me, Pascal. I wasn't going to. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, yeah. So like the thing is like they're like and like they're both there's 4 kinds and
Yes.
I'm not gonna remember them, but Dodson is like Ramirez and just a crazy person. which is like they sort of do things they seem for no reason, or they think they're doing the work of a god or a higher power,
Yes,
son of
yeah,
Sam. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, and then Mark is all the awful, like the really bad ones, like the really bad ones. That just why they do it, because they love killing. It's like, okay, that's fucked up. That's messed up. Yeah,
I don't,
dude,
I want to
I
I don't
love
want to
that stuff.
spoil
It's
it for
always
anybody, but I do love. You mentioned Dodson in the list. You know, I've always spoiler alert if anybody hasn't read it, but I do love the idea that he was like, oh, you have a list. Oh, whose handwriting is it in?
yeah, yeah. Mark's not. He's like, I think it's like he's so happy to find someone to talk shop with. And he's like, oh, this guy's a little bit off, which is so funny because you're like, you're you, man, like you're off too. But it's kind of like he's like, yeah, whose handwriting is in is
Whose
correct.
handwriting is it in? It's God's list. Did God put this list together, but whose handwriting is it in? And like, who made this
Yeah,
list?
yeah. There's physically a list? What are you doing?
Yes.
And he's like, is my name on it? Like, is
Yeah.
my name on it? He's like, not yet. It was just a weird thing to say to your friend. You know
Your
what I
friend,
mean?
your
Like,
friend. Also, if it, yeah, if, you know, if it's also
yeah.
created by a higher power, it's like, well, it's not yet, but
I don't
yeah.
have, I have no control over it, and in theory, doesn't. I would like to do more because I have a little origin story for him, for Dodson, that sort of establishes, because I think he's an interesting character. Again, no spoilers, but he has a, I think from a reader's perspective, he has an arc.
Yeah.
What he starts as is not what he ends as, but he's what he ends at the whole time.
Hmm.
Through the course of the whole thing, he is killing, but he's killing for different reasons, and not because of a compulsion, but maybe because of some sort of like perceived obligation. And I think this stuff's really interesting, but it's also very subtle. And like I think a lot of the stuff in there is very subtle.
Mm.
That I think is really interesting about these dudes. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun to explore when you really, the best stuff is always when you go, I'm really interested in this. I want to explore it more. Whether 80s action movies or it's wrestling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I really want to. What do these guys? How do they exist in this space? I think is really fascinating to me.
Well,
Serial
I tell you right
killers,
now,
we love them.
if you are a huge, I mean, I think part of the reasons why I liked it so much was the fact that I am a huge fan of the comic series Nailbiter. I think it has that vibe to it, and I think that your main character, you know, you talk about this. There's Dodson, and there's what did you say his other guy's name was?
Mark Andrew Smith,
But
am I wrong? I
yes,
can't remember.
yes, yeah, and
Uh,
then but Edward Charles Warren from Nailbiter, from they have similar like looks too and personalities
oh
in that
yeah,
sense too. And so to me, I'm like, oh, that's why I should dive right into this, and I absolutely loved it because of that too. Because like I said, Nailbiter, it was an absolutely phenomenal series, and I you know the comparisons are not close enough where it's like, oh, they're similar, but they're just like if you like one, you'll probably like the other. And in my
yeah.
opinion, if you're a big fan of Nailbiter, you probably will write like this. And the same thing I'll say about Where Monsters Lie on this. I mean, I feel like there's if you like that, you're gonna like this too. It's a little bit more. There's more. I think it's a little bit more. It's
It's less
darker.
playful. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
less
it's
playful.
darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, less playful in this sense. But yeah, so but you've also gotten. I mean, I haven't. I'm not. I'll tell you right now. I'm not a huge Rick and Morty fan, but I just haven't gotten into it. Not the
That's
comics, not
okay.
nothing. But you've written some more, done some more. What's going on? You did some more Rick and Morty the past year too. What's going on with that? You
I
diving back into the world of Rick and Morty, or you just
I did one more issue,
okay?
which is the issues would always be an A story and a B story.
Yeah,
So it'd be like 16 pages and then a 4-page backup. I can't remember. So we did like a 16 and an 8. They did a Kickstarter, which I think is over now, or it's
yeah.
about to be over. I don't know. Where it's a box set of the first 100
Oh,
issues.
okay.
48 of those are mine.
Yeah,
And I did one more that you can only get through that Kickstarter. It's an unreprintable Rick and Morty issue,
that's
which you can
awesome.
only get through that Kickstarter. So I couldn't. My ego is so great, and I spent so many years doing that book. I'm happily doing it. I think I did really good work on that book. Should have been Eisner nominated. Can someone speak to the committee? The committee's not around.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, but I love the show, especially at that time,
Yeah.
and uh, it was an honor to they wanted me to do 5 issues. I did 48, right? Like I mean,
Mm.
I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the work I did. So to be asked like, oh, we want to do a special issue, who do we reach out to? Like, it's my ego is so big, and I had a story that I wanted to make that I never had a chance to. So it was kind of a perfect situation where I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know the exact story I'm going to do, and I was ready to go. And it's Rick and Morty fun. I
Yeah.
think the thing is that I do these shows, you know what I mean, and people still love Rick and Morty. They still love Rick and Morty, um,
I just never
and
got
it's
into
like,
it. I just
man,
never, I don't think I've ever
no, that's
watched
fine.
it. It's not, no, it's not like, it's not even that. Like, obviously to me,
Yeah.
I'm like one of those things with Rick and Morty is the animated show. So it's like you have to kind of watch that to kind of like get the comic. But I guess you could do the opposite way too. You could read the comic.
Probably not. Yeah, I think
But
it's all. I think it's one of those shows. The show's so smart. I think because you can kind of step in at any point, and that's why I
mm,
made the comic. It's very episodic. you can almost just watch any episode and you'll be able to figure out what's going on. Oh, it's
Hmm.
crazy scientist with this dumb kid, and they're going on weird adventures, and it's really clever. Like that's every. It's not hard to figure out, which I think is why it's so accessible. Is what
Hmm.
makes it so popular, and also that it's legitimately incredibly clever and smart. Um, so yeah, people still love it. People still love it. It's good to do it. I had a point, but it's gone now. I don't know. We love Rick and Morty.
Here's
I,
so you jump back into Rick and Morty for that special story, and people are
yeah.
obviously gonna be fans of yours will love that and stuff like that too. But what I want, and I think you're gonna agree with this, I want more Mars Attacks.
Well, talk to Boom. Good luck. I you know I love it's funny before I did that I always liked the Tim Burton movie. I always
Yeah.
liked the Tim Burton movie. In fact, there's a scene that's one of my favorite scenes of all time, which is when the retired washed up boxer like fist fights a swarm of Martians so his friends can get away. It's one of my favorite like no I say unironically, it's one of my favorite scenes in cinema. It's shot so well and the emotion of that moment, the drama is so good. But I'd never read like the cards,
Mhm.
which I'd never seen them. Um, and I like that movie. I was like, I like that movie, fine. But they reached out to me, and people go, oh, how did you get Rick and Morty, or how did you get Mars Attacks? It's like, oh, I wrote a book that was objectively funny, and if you had a funny property, like you asked that guy to do it. I got asked to do a ton of stuff, and I said no to a ton of stuff
Yeah.
because I was like, I don't like that. Where they do like Rick and Morty, and I do like Mars. I like the movie, and
Yeah.
I said that they're like, you do. I was like, man, I don't know. Like it's Mars Attacks. Like I don't know. I was like, if I get a good idea, I'll do it. And I got in the shower right after the phone call. I was like, and I thought of this. Oh, it's a father and a again dad issues. A father
Yeah.
and their son sort of trying to fix their relationship during the midst of this awful, like the world's ending.
Yeah.
But also, they sent me. I got a book with the cards in it. Like had the cards in
Okay.
order, and the cards are a comic book. It's a sequential story. Like it literally tells a story in an order. And I was like, oh, that's the background. Like it's literally
Yeah.
happening during the card mark attack. I'm like, that's really interesting to me. I was like, I think this is good. And I texted Chris Schweizer, my best friend who drew
Yeah.
that book. But I think this might be. Do you think this is a good idea? He goes, yeah. Tell him I'll draw it. And I was like, that's not how you get work. That's how Chris Schweizer gets work. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. And there, I was like, oh, I was like, ha. My friend Chris says he'll draw it. And the editor, Kevin Kettner, who's a great editor, said he's like, oh, I love Chris. That's good. Like that's not how you get work.
Well,
So
I guess
I
that's
the
how
thing is,
Chris gets it. Okay.
I think like, and also that book's out of print. You can't even get
Yeah.
that. Like,
No.
I'd love for
No.
that book to be back in print. Is that Chris and I both are like incredibly proud of that story. I think it's a very emotionally powerful story. He did a great job. It's violent and it's stupid and it's over the top and it hits every button that I want a story to hit. It's like,
Hmm.
well, it's out of print. You can't get it. But it's like, I don't know what another one would be. But
Yeah.
I say that and like, if asked, I'm excited to figure it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I just try not to and Where Monsters Lie is sort of indicative of why I've always thought this was smart, and Those Not Afraid also because I definitely see a volume two is like I try not to think about things that I can't make myself,
Yeah.
that I can't control, that I can't guarantee will exist, because it's heartbreaking and it's a waste
Yeah.
of time. It's a waste of my creative energy. I bet I feel differently about that phrase down the road because it's probably I go, oh no, it's good practice, it's good something, but I'm starting to do big two stuff. I
Yeah.
did Wild Dog and Lobo and Harley Quinn and people are like, oh, who do you want to? I'm like, I try not to think about it
Yeah.
because if I come up with a great blank story and they say no, it's like it's gone. He said, well, you could file the serial numbers off and now it's called like Great Man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like pretty cool
Well, I mean,
man or
that's kind
whatever.
of what Patton and Jordan did with Minor
A lot.
Threats in a sense,
No,
but
well, here's the thing. I'd say like that's deconstructionist. My argument would
yeah.
be is that's deconstructionist, and that's what it is. The same as Invincible or
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Boys
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
in that it's not the same as going. I really want to play. I have a really great Iron Man. We'll say Iron Man. I have a
Yeah.
really great Iron Man story. It's the best Iron Man story. And go. I guess I'll just make a guy in a robot suit. He's like, sure, you can do that. But if you have a really good Iron Man story, it probably relies on that lore. It
Yeah.
probably relies on you knowing like who Stain is, or there's
Yeah.
something you need to know about this character. Whereas otherwise, you sort of have a shorthand, which is what is great about Minor Threats, is that if you love superhero stuff, and I don't know why people aren't losing their mind. I don't get money from them doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Minor Threats is that first volume especially.
Yeah.
The second volume is good. The first one especially is a great deconstructionist, fun, character-driven comic series. That's great. If you love Watchmen, Boys, Invincible, like
Yeah.
you'll love Minor Threats. Minor Threats, the alternates, it's so good. It looks good. It reads good. The idea is so good. Basically, when you get vertigoed and then you come back is such a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like Swamp Thing used to not be Swamp Thing. He used to just be a man thing. You know, like
Yes,
he
yeah.
used to be this dumb fucking
Yes,
free boy,
yes.
but now he's a god. Like, what
Yeah.
if you had to go back? What if you had to go back to being just a dream? I think it's so smart. I think the work that Ryan Brown did on Barfly
Yeah.
is next level. It's some of the best art I've ever seen. It's just a I say it over and over and over, and it's the correct series of words. It's a relentless display of creativity. If you wanted to
Yeah.
see a person show off how creative they are, I think Ryan Brown's art on Barfly is unbelievable. And so, it's a shame because like these books are legitimately good in a
Yes.
time when Boys and Invincible clearly show that people love this kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
And they're not like they're just there's some disconnect somewhere because they should be selling like crazy. They should be, and they're gonna have a Netflix show. And maybe
Yes.
once the Netflix show comes out, then people go, "Oh, let's go buy the books." It's like,
Yeah.
well, shoot, man, are those books still in print? I hope they are.
No.
Like, I hope you didn't miss the chance. But it's
Yeah.
like if you like superhero stuff, I say if you like those books, and if I was a retailer, knowing I know for a fact because I talk to retailers as much as I can that
Yeah.
Invincible is bringing people into the shop. People are coming for Invincible stuff, but there's only
Yes.
so much Invincible stuff. And you go, oh man, if you like that, you should check out if they're adults, The Boys,
Yeah.
20th Century Men by like Denise Camp, right? Watchmen, but that again, Watchmen's like master reading, right? That's a tough
Mhm.
one. If you're like, oh, I want to read comics, and someone goes, oh, you should read Watchmen, it's the best one. It's like that's not where you should start.
No.
Like start with something fun and build up to the best one, right? Because I think these stores should be really pushing these books. They should really be pushing Minor Threats, and I think they go, oh, Patton Oswalt art is shorthand to people who are outside of it. Because if you're in the comic industry, why would you care? You want
Yes.
Ed Brubaker wrote it. You know what I mean?
Correct,
You
yeah.
want like, yeah. But I think which I think is also like it's too bad. They're really good. They're really fun. They're really smart. It's that type of thing where it's like if you love superheroes and you go, man, where does Leapfrog do after? It's the same thing that I've been saying this whole time. It's really interesting to think that these are real people. These are real people. They're not Superman who has to be perfect, right? This is Leapfrog. This is like the most minor, and they've upset Batman, right? Like that's such a good like. What does the Sinister Six do when they've upset Batman? And like he's gonna kill them. Like he's gonna kill them. That's such a good bit. The city's cool because it has the city where all the Minor Threat stuff has all the like sort of event comic result. Like there's giant dead gods that take up traffic, and that's so smart. It's just a smart, good book. I really wish more people were reading it because I think they're really good.
It also shows how much like people who discount the idea that it's Patton Oswalt in the sense that he's such a big comic book fan, and it's like Patton and Jordan's love letter to comics because it shows
100%.
so much about, and it's also some of it's like look how much we know about comics, but in such a good way, in a way that like it shines in that sense. You're right. Anybody should be picking up Minor Threats in general, and then you have like you said, then the names like, and I'm gonna put you into that category too.
Yeah.
The names that are in the other books too, not just Patton, Jordan, and Kyle Starks and Brian Brown, Tim Seeley. It's insane.
That first issue of Welcome to Twilight, which is Mike Allred and Matt Fraction, is the best single issue of comics I've read, and I say that sincerely. I finished reading that and I go, oh, here's what's been wrong with comics for 5 years. We haven't had Matt Fraction. Like that's literally I told someone, I was like, it's the best single issue of comics that I've read in I don't know how long. Welcome to Twilight #1. It's Matt Fraction's return to comics with Mike Allred. And it's like, why isn't everyone talking about that? I don't understand. I just don't understand it from a comics community. It's like, what are you guys reading? Like, you don't want to read the good stuff. And I think there's a thing where you go, where I go is like, where I'm a comic fan, and whenever, which happened less because I'm so old, but like whenever it's like, oh, this celebrity is doing a comic, you go, all right, well, they're just trying to make a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's a fair amount of examples of that exist right now, especially because it's easier to make a comic than to make a movie right now. But here's the thing. Patton and Jordan Bloom love comic books. Like Patton gave me a pull quote on Rock Candy Mountain when it came out, which was 2017. Like they love Jordan, which is Place of Entitlement. Shout out to him. I think he just finished the entire X-Men collection. Like I think he has every X-Men book now, right? And you go like that's from love. Like these guys love. And there's other guys, and I'm not going to name names. Google, but like they don't care. They don't care about comics.
Yeah.
Like I just saw one where it's like the two writers. They're like, oh, they came to me. The celebrity like, oh, they came to me, and you're like, all right, well, we don't care about that. Like, the Patton loves comics. They love comics, and they've read all of them, and it's all like sort of on the nose references that aren't their original. It's that thing that I do, which is probably why they asked me to do it, which is like, oh, it's shorthand for something else, but you twist it, you make it something bigger, you make it more character driven. That's what makes it interesting and relatable.
I mean,
He's great.
if you're a Marvel fan, like these two Pat and Jordan love comic. They wrote a MODOK series. Like that's
Yeah.
like
And then they
guys,
made the
like
cartoon. They made a
yeah,
they made a
they made a
series.
TV
Yeah.
show. So that's like, but I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, you don't get into comics to make it into a movie or something like that. If you're like going to write MODOK, it's not like it's not
MODOK.
the flashiest thing. In that sense, they ended up being able to do MODOK comic and MODOK TV series, but that wasn't like in a connected way that they tried to get their
Yeah.
property made into a film
That
or something like that.
that
So yeah,
MODOK comic is where they met Scott Hepburn, who
yep,
is the primary artist for
yeah,
the Minor Threats universe. So just
yep.
like it's legit. It's legit. They love comics. It's a really good comic. All of them are really good.
Really good, and there's more coming. And there's just not. Hopefully, they don't stop anytime soon. And that's also a shout out to Dark Horse at this point too, because they're Dark Horse comics. So,
Yeah.
Dark Horse has
All
been
Dark Horse
great.
today.
Yeah, yeah, it's all Dark Horse, Dark Horse, Dark Horse. But it's been fun. And I think that one of those things that with your history in comics in your future, you have this. There's different segments that people like, but there's also this like thread that there's comedy, there's killing, there's dogs, there's cats, there's whatever. And I think that your fandom is there. I feel like you you mentioned your fandom not being that high. I will say that I'm lucky enough. There's two pull quotes on where monsters lie, volume 2, and on Those Not Afraid. Both have a Capes and Tights pull quote on the
Hey,
back of it. But also,
we
I'm
love
looking
that.
at it.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, I have one on Peacemaker Tries Hard. But I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I am the only fan of comics.
You're the only one. No, I don't think that's true, but sometimes it feels like it. But I think like it's a complicated industry. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a whole other thing.
yeah,
I don't, I'm not name dropping, but I was talking to Ram V at San Diego Comic
yeah,
Con last year, and I was saying something about how I just want to I want more readers. And it's like
yeah.
I'm making these things to be read. And he said, which is where I try to be in my headspace, is like you can only control what you can control. And what I can control is that I'm going to make good, fun stories.
Yeah.
And they are objectively that, whether people read them or not. I say that humbly. I believe it's true. I think they're fun. I think they're a good time. I think they're
Hmm.
enjoyable reads every time. And that's all I can do. All I can do is make the stories that I wish existed and try to
Hmm.
entertain people and hope that they find an audience. And you go, maybe this publisher isn't as good as promoting as this publisher, and
Yeah.
that's why maybe who knows? You know what I mean? Like you never know, and I can only control what I can control. So it's upsetting because like it's upsetting to me that Where Monsters Lie Volume 1 sold out every issue,
Hmm.
and Volume 2 like not even enough to justify like a really low number. And you go, what is that? Barfly didn't sell super great either, which is
Which is
unbelievable
fascinating.
because again, Ryan Brown did
Yeah.
it just for the art. It just to see what comic art can be. It's worth what superhero comic art could be. It's worth picking up. But the industry is the industry. There's a lot of stuff, and we're all competing against a lot of stuff. And
Well, it's funny because
oh
I picked up the previous catalog, which I don't even know if it's a thing anymore, honestly. The
yeah,
previous
who
catalog.
knows?
But
Who
I was
knows
like, I was
after?
flipping through it at my local comic shop, and I looked, and it's funny because obviously when you're a writer of a comic, it goes writer, artist, and the rest. Like that's like the so it's like Barfly, minor threat from the world of minor threats, Barfly, and it's like Kyle Stark's like hell yeah, and then I'm like literally was like. And Ryan Brown, I'm like, holy shit, yeah. Like, it was
Yeah,
like one of those things where I was like going down the line and I'm like, oh, yeah, yep. Sounds good. I'll be picking this up. And it
yeah,
was phenomenal. We talked about that when you were on in July. But like the idea that Ryan is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm glad that he's doing more with Charles Soule too, with Lucky Devils is just phenomenal as
yeah.
well. And seeing that too. But I
They're
was
pretty
just
good.
happy. Yeah, seeing that connection and seeing two of my favorite people in the industry, Kyle, you and Ryan,
Yeah,
connecting to doing this thing. I want to see that again. I want to see some more from you too, if you can in the future. But I also want to see you killing more people and serial killers and stuff like that. And I loved I Hate This Place, so I knew it wasn't as long as you wanted it to be. We've heard you talk about it. We've heard people talk about
I
it
know.
forever. You don't need to go on it again. But like I wish it was longer, and I wish there was more to
Yeah,
it. But maybe one day down the road there's something you can revisit. But I also like these new stories. So like as much as I wanted the sequel to Where Monsters Lie, and I'm glad we got it because I said I thought it was phenomenal. I think everybody should pick it up. Buy volume
yeah,
one and by volume 2. It's you can get the trade. That's another way. I mean, who knows? The trade might sell like gangbusters. I don't know. It's one of
you
those things.
never know.
Maybe just
A lot
wait
of
for
people wait for
trade wait.
trades. Yeah,
Yep. And so, but I thought they were phenomenal. I thought seeing that, but then also seeing Those Not Afraid being a new story from you, it's like, well, maybe that's what I want from it. Maybe I want more, and I would love to see a sequel to Those Not Afraid, 100% because I like the book. But maybe it's
yeah.
the next thing. Maybe it's the next 4 issue miniseries I see you coming out for. Would come out
Well,
with it that I really be in love with. But we'll see.
we're working on it right now. I don't know when Dark Horse is going to announce it, but I'll tell you, it is a bloody revenge horror. It is the least funny thing I've done for sure. Um,
That's you. That's what
it's
you
just
think.
I know. I think it's true. I think for this one it's true though.
Okay.
But
Okay. I believe you.
I honestly never know because it's like it's a full on it's 4 issues of bloody violent revenge.
It's awesome.
And Peter's drawing it because we love Peter, and because no one draws violence like a Polish comic artist does. Uh, he's bringing it. We love that for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did
so
you
we'll see.
did you read Swarm or see the book Swarm he did with who was it with? It was a graphic
Peter's done.
novel.
He's doing 8 books right now. Like I don't know. He does so many books. He does so many books. He's got to be
Oh,
the busiest man
yeah,
in
it's
comics.
yeah, and it's like and he doesn't like skim over pages. Like even on like where monsters like there's like bottles on the shelf in the background. He's like drawing all the bottles, and I'm
Dude,
like most people just draw like a blank background. He's like, no, I'm gonna get in there and draw all that
and
stuff.
he cross and everything's crosshatched. His
Yes.
inks are so good. Like you do that thing where I don't. Again, I try not to think of things that I can't control. But when he's sending, like, I was like, man, if it was big enough, we would do like a black and white edition, and people would be like, what is like Vladimir Popov did a wonderful job on colors. Like he's part of
Yeah.
that Weird Monsters Live team. But
Yeah.
like just his line work is it's so good. Like it's just like it's so good. And I've only worked with a couple guys who you do sort of see inks they send you like that.
Yeah.
Mark Ellerby on Rick and Morty, we
Yeah.
would do that. You'd sort of see everything like, man, his line work is so good. His pencils were incredible.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and now here's the funny. It's like very sort of flat. Like you kind of lose some of the energy because you're inking over it. But he's one of those guys. And they did that Trick or Treat like Halloween
Yeah.
edition of Where My So it's like it's cool that there's a cover out there that just is
Yeah.
his line work, and you can see how cool he is. We
Well, and
love
also if you
Keaton.
check out the trade collected edition of Where Monsters Live Volume 2, there's a lot of back matter in there too. One of my favorite things, honestly, in it is seeing your illustrations of the
I haven't
characters.
seen it yet.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
awesome. I love it. I was seeing your style of artwork, drawing the characters from this book is like I don't know. It just feels like I'm in a different universe, which is awesome. And I believe you have a
yeah,
list of your favorite horror comedy or underrated
yeah,
horror comedy
sure. Oh
movies
yeah,
out there that you should see. So that's what also worth it. So that's what's worth it sometimes for these trades too. Is just like even if you bought all the single issues, buy the
I
trade
think
because it's a bunch of cool back matter. Like it's really kind
I
of
think
cool
the
that
first one. I think the first one
is it really?
has my draw. I think the first one has my drawings in the back of it too. Hold on, I gotta
Yeah,
look
I think
because
I
because Peter's so smart. Yeah, so I don't want. So you can see
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
uh, is that it has my drawing, like my original drawings, and then it has his great headshots that he sent. We
Yes.
had more back matter for this one. We had way more for this one. But Peter's so smart. One of the things that he does that I think is really smart, if you're going to do this many books, and I say smart, you could, listen, one could argue maybe it's lazy, but I say it's smart, is that he'll go, because he knows I'm a cartoonist,
Yeah.
he'll go, he's like, just draw it. Just draw it for
Yeah.
me, and I'll like, so like all the characters, like, he's like, what do you think they look like? I was like, oh, okay. So like, there's a bit in Where Monsters Lie too, because it's
Yeah.
my thing is like, where else would you go? It's like, so then one of the other sites where it's full of monsters is
Yeah.
just like the hillbilly cannibals, right?
Yeah.
The hillbilly cannibals, because of course they're like those guys don't get to hang out with everyone else. They're weird little nasty country monsters. And he was like, I was like, oh, here's where like I'm like in the script like doing like this is a good movie, this is a good movie, this is a good movie, and he's like, could you just draw a bunch of could you just draw a bunch of them? And I would love nothing more than to draw like 30 cannibal hillbilly characters. So that's cool. There's a page where it's like where one of the characters is trying to figure out how they would be the Mother's Day killer, and they've made
Yeah.
like a dream journal, and I drew that and gave it to him, and then he's like, oh, I don't know what this means, because I think there's a language barrier. I think that's a lot of
Yeah.
it for some of that stuff, and so because you can't translate some things that
No.
you say don't translate into
Don't translate.
your
Yeah.
Polish, yeah. And so and then to see him, he drew the. I thought he would just like use it for reference, but he redrew it. I think that's in
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that's so funny to me. Some of it was like, he could like the script because of his failure. I was like, here's what happened, and there's a thing. There's basically a Freddy character. Spoilers. And so there's a bit where like they're inside his dream, watching his dreams
Yeah.
as an event unfolds. But I was like, this is really cool. A real cool sort of like using comics formula, form in a way that it's interesting because you can be in the panel, not in the panel, and he's like, he was like, I don't understand, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll just draw it, but I had to keep drawing it because he's like,
Yeah.
I was like, because I drew it real loose, and it's like I
Yeah.
have to draw it again tighter. It's like it's not like I'm just doing pages, you know what I mean? Like I'm just doing full pages, and he's like, okay, got it, and of course it looks great because Peter's so good. But yeah, I love that stuff too, and there's not always like, for like my stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm doing a book, I don't do what he like. I'm not doing character designs.
Yeah.
I just kind of start drawing and go, this is what they look like. I got to figure out how to draw this thing. But so whenever I do like my stuff and it's like, let's do back matter, it kind of sucks because there isn't
There's
any.
nothing there. Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't because I just started doing it. But this one was cool. I wish for the first one he sent these dope headshots, like these pencil headshots.
Yeah.
And which are all I'm like, here's what they look like. And he's like, here's my grid ones. and basically I designed all these characters except for like Professor Puzzleman, who's probably the best design. Like
Yeah,
Professor Puzzleman's so good. Like
it's
of
cool.
course Peter. The first one he sent, which I think is in one of his books, was just like a guy with an eye patch, and I'm like, I don't know about this one. I was like, I don't know about just a guy like a normal looking dude with an eye patch,
Eye patch.
and then yeah, just nothing. And like the next one was like this unhinged professor, like this mask with like tape, and he's got a weird
Yeah.
like grimace, and like, geez, like why is he having me design anything? Like, I don't understand why anyone would ask me anything if you could come up with
Well, he
Professor
did. Yeah.
Puzzleman
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
Marmot. He did Marmot. I could list all of it. He's great. Peter's great. Would work with Peter, especially on these horror books. Like
Yeah.
he has fun with it, and somehow like he has that thing where it's like he gets. I think from my age, like I think I like a scary boy, but I like it when they horror is like a little. It's got one joke in it. You know, give me
Yeah.
one joke.
Yeah.
I just think I like it when they're just like every now and then you can be a little silly, and I think Peter gets that. Like he exists in that space
Mm.
of like an '80s slasher movie where like that's where I
Yes.
want to work. That's where I want to be with. So
So
we love Peter. This new book's gonna
I
be good.
Yeah, I'm
No
excited
jokes.
for it. I'm excited for anything. I said I'll buy anything. I say Steve Niles is one that wrote that Swarm book. It was a graphic novel over at Dark Horse, and Peter was the art the artist on it, which was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And I'm glad you mentioned Vlad because Vlad actually was on for our Star Wars Matriarch
Yeah,
podcast. His
I know he sent me a link, but I
Vlad,
didn't listen
yeah,
to it. He said he
Vlad,
talked about We're Monsters Live, and thanks, Vlad.
yeah. Late to the game, Vlad. No, but he was just talking about how like there's different like ways of coloring and stuff like that, which was really cool to hear because you don't hear that often. A lot of times you just hear from illustrators or writers or so on and so forth. So it was really cool to see that. But yeah, Vlad's excellent on the colors on this book too, which is phenomenal on Where Monsters Lie. But I mean, the trades are all coming out. The dates, I have the dates here somewhere. Trade hits
June something.
August 26th for Those Unafraid, and June 17th for Where Monsters Lie Volume 2. You can get Where Monsters Lie Volume 1 right now, so I think you should do
You
that right
should.
away. And then I think it's June 17th as well for the hardcover of the Oni Press thing as of
Oh,
right now. That kill them all. It's again, those things are so fluid and so on and so forth nowadays that I feel like I've gone onto like Lunar and seen like this trade comes out this week, and then I'll go next week and it comes out this week, and it comes out this week. I'm like, wait, they're coming out 3 weeks in a row. No, it just got
uh,
pushed to the next week, to the next week, to the next week. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And the world of distribution right now is insane. So I don't know what's going on, but
yes.
pre-order for sure if you can. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what's coming next. I'm excited for everything. I'm glad that you came back on here, took time out of your busy schedule right now to come on here and do this. But I will say, do you agree with Celtics in 6?
I hope so. I feel like they are storming to break
Oh,
my heart.
yes,
I
they
feel like
are.
they're storming to break my heart. But I this was like my worst basketball watching year in a while. So I'm kind
Me
of like,
too. I,
yeah, I don't know.
I,
There's something about I don't know what happened. I mean, I know that I don't want to brag, but I had a bunch of personal shit going on.
yeah,
But it's like, man, I should have been watching more basketball. But I watch with my wife. My wife is my best friend, and
yeah,
she's now going to bed at 7:30. So it's like I don't have someone like so I'm not like and what's so not funny but
yeah,
frustrating is I feel like I'm at a point where I've watched everything that I want to watch on all the
yeah,
streaming
yeah, yeah,
programs I
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And last Monday, I was like, "There's nothing on." Like I'm so annoyed, and I'm just like, I'm
Yes.
watching YouTube or something, and my homie is like, my dude's like, he's like, "Dude, did you see when they lost in overtime?" He's like, "Did you catch the game?" And I'm like, "There was a
I could.
game. I could have been like, I could one. How do I not know? Like, why am I so just like I'm so out of it?"
I had to.
I don't
I'll
think
tell you, Kyle. I had to. I actually was like, "Oh, Kyle's a basketball fan. Let me look at this." Right before we got on, right before we started recording, I'm like, "Celtics." I just Googled Celtics, being like, "What time? When are they playing it? They're playing tonight, by the way. Just so
they're
you
playing tonight,
know."
6:30 tonight. No, I know they're playing tonight. It's like I gotta go back to watching, but man, those first I watched the second half of the second game. It's just like I'm
Yeah,
I'm traveling. I'm drawing a book right now, which
yeah,
takes all my time. It's like the TV's on all the time. It's like,
yeah,
man, I could have had basketball. It's so
yeah,
annoying to be like,
yeah,
I'm so stupid. Um, but I was like, I had such a like emotionally challenging last year. It's like if
yeah,
I watched more basketball, would I have been happier? Like, because I like didn't make time like I do in the past. Usually, I just like I'd watch 3 games a night. Like I'll just sit there and watch 3 games a
yeah.
night, or I'll go between 3 games. You know what I mean? And just I do. I love basketball. I love pro wrestling. I love murder and I love pets. These are all
Yeah.
true things about me.
It was funny.
Uh,
My wife was like, "Oh, we're gonna cancel. We have YouTube TV, is how we watch our cable TV or whatever." And she's like, "We'll cancel. We just closed on the house last Wednesday, so we're like, oh, we're
uh,
trying to let's
I
cancel." I
hear
go, "We
you.
can't. I can't. We gotta watch basketball. I can't." And then look
Playoffs.
at her.
Yeah.
She goes, "You watched a bunch of basketball this year. You didn't you?" I'm like, "Ah, shut up." Why are
Yeah,
you doing that to me right now? Well, that's like kicking me while I'm down right now. I spent like $250,000 yesterday, and
it's
you
a
want me to tell me I didn't watch basketball
yeah.
this year? What the hell are you
It's
doing?
it's the playoffs. We get NBA, we get the league pass every
Yeah,
year. So I was like, man, I paid a lot for league pass this year to not watch
not watched it. Yeah.
near enough.
Well, the
Watch near
NBA needs
enough.
your money, so
Well, I mean, I say like I bet I watched 50 games because like I didn't watch 80 games. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see
hmm
all the Celtics games, and some of it I was telling a peer is like, um, I I've never had a team that I like in basketball, which I used to be a Knicks guy.
yeah,
They've never won. I've never had like they haven't been good since 1998,
yeah,
and so something about them like it's also like I
yeah,
like them lost the drive. Like hey, we got it. Like
yeah,
I can finally calm down. But it's like
yeah,
I like it's a really good team. I love it. I'm super
yeah,
glad Peyton won Sixth Man of the Year because I love Peyton Pritchard. He's one of
yeah.
my favorite all time players probably. Um, I think if here's the thing, I don't want to jinx it. If they can beat uh whoever they're playing, New
Yeah.
York, which by
Yeah.
the way was my old team. Like
Yeah.
I should be so engaged in this
Yeah.
series. It's my
Series.
old
Yeah.
team versus my new team, and I think if they beat the Knicks, which is a big if,
Yeah.
I think they can beat the Pacers, who probably going to be playing the Pacers, right? And I think
Yeah.
then they'll get murdered, probably murdered in the finals. But that's
Yeah.
our third finals in like 8 years, six
Yeah.
years. Like I'll take it. That's great. That's a
Well,
great
like I said,
achievement.
the fact that we can watch us all this game, in my opinion, now in middle of May, is an awesome thing. And seeing that, yes, it's one of those things. One of the things that I keep on saying about Star Wars things. I'm like, yeah, the Star Wars stuff that comes out right now might not be the best thing in the world, but it's still a Star Wars thing. I get to watch something that says Star Wars on it, which is pretty cool. And so me, I'm like, yeah, even if the Celtics don't win, I'm like, at least we get to watch basketball in the middle of May and have it be the
Yeah,
Celtics. So like, okay,
I
I'm
watch it.
happy with that. We
I
get to
watch
watch
it
it
anyway. We
first, though.
watch it. I did watch all the tournament. I watched all the
Yeah.
tournament games except for I think maybe the last two rounds because it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm done. I want to watch 64 games, not three.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me.
I'm just
Yeah, I
pumped
hope
about the
you.
draft coming up because you know what? You know what town I'm moving to is Newport, Maine, where Cooper Flag is from. And so we were pretty pumped here in Maine
You're gonna find
to
out today
see
who's gonna
our
capture the flag.
yeah, we got to see about it. But I love that, by the way, the idea that captures a flag. That was
Dude,
like,
I think this is a really really deep draft, and which is good
yes,
because we haven't had one in a while. So
yeah,
it's I think as a hoops fan, because there hasn't been like I mean you go Wimbiani, but it's like yeah, but you want like six dope players. I think this might have six dope players in it. So it'll be cool
it'll
to
be
see
fun.
and
We're
yeah
just excited here in Maine because like nothing like there's not even like been a player that's been like good for Maine. It's not even like
no,
one of those things where
it's
you're like,
true.
oh, a second round pick or a guy that got drafted or signed, whatever. No, it's like literally Maine just been like this little thing in the world. So to have this person be the number one draft pick is going to be phenomenal for us. So like my bank, he's like a standee in the bank you go into. He's just standing there touting their like team
Can,
credit card they have, their debit card, whatever the hell they have there, and he's just him and his brother. And his brother Ace is going to be playing at UMaine, which is down the street from me, which is pretty cool too. So I'm
oh,
excited. We're
he
excited for
couldn't get
that.
into a good school.
Yeah, exactly right. No,
Ace, Ace,
the benefit of it to us is like when he gets 21, I work for a brewery and we have NIL, we have like sponsored athletes, and we're like, well, maybe we can get Ace as a sponsored athlete. We're like, well, maybe we can get his mom. Their mom is like at every game, every all the
doesn't
time, and
aren't there two more brothers with wild names? Don't they all have like
it's
Cooper? It's like
Ace,
Cooper Ace,
and I don't remember the
Cooper
other brother's
Ace.
name.
Like they all have. There's four of them, I
Yeah,
think, and they all have like one of them is Cowboy. I think I
yeah,
don't know if that's true.
probably.
They
Yeah,
they
but
all have
I'll tell you right
interesting
now, the
names.
school that he used to go to, or the Nokomis Regional High School, which was before he left to go to Florida, kids take snowmobiles to school in the wintertime. So there's that. You know, he's got that for him. So he's in the middle of
So
nowhere.
he's tough. He's
Yeah,
tough.
he's tough Mainer right there. No, we're excited, and I'm excited for hopefully this all gets pulled out, but we'll see. Whatever. If not, I'll just be able to read more murder books from my friend Kyle
Dude,
Starks here.
I'll tell you like I would rather. I'm a Hoosier. I would
Yeah.
rather them lose to New York than lose to Indiana. I would rather they lose to New York than Indiana.
I
That's
don't want him
messed
to
up.
lose to Indiana because I don't want him to like because of David Harper. I don't want.
Yep.
That's why I don't
I'll,
want to
I,
lose it.
I'll be getting texts from him like
Yeah.
we own stock in these teams.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, buddy, this we've been here. Where were you
Yes.
last year?
Yeah,
Were you guys even
exactly.
in this? Like, what do you? I'm happy for you. Be happy for my success. Like, I'm pulling for you.
Yeah. I'll just like I said,
We
cool.
love
Make it to
talking.
the
We
next
love.
round. We'll sweep the Pacers. Just like run them in the ground. Not even a question. 20-point wins every
Dude,
game for 4 straight games.
I would love it. I think I wish I this thing I wish I watched was like how did they get two on Cleveland? Cleveland's so good. I just stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like I wish I'd seen it because then it can make more sense to me. And if you ask me these questions, I can go, oh, here's what I think.
Yeah.
But now it's just like I'm just like
I don't know.
Well, I'm like a stepdad right now rather than their dad, and I like being a dad. Stepdad's kind of like, I don't know, what's that kid doing? Like, hey, Kyle, your kid's out on the street. It's like, it's not my kid.
I,
You know what I mean? Like,
I still love him, but it is not my problem.
yeah. I can't do anything with that guy. You got to talk to his mom.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. And it's fun because every once in a while you get to chat basketball with you because it's quick and easy. But like, there's people who out there who don't want to listen to us talk about basketball forever. So
I know.
like,
Sorry, everyone.
not,
Hey,
like,
We're Monsters Live is really good. Love
Well, it was at the end, so if people could turn us off, it's not that big of a deal. They turned us off 15 minutes ago. Let's be honest. It's you and I talking. They probably turned us off for the first 5 minutes. Let's be honest.
Whenever I'm on a and they're like, oh, let's talk about basketball. I'm like, yes. And when let's talk about pro wrestling, I'm like, yes. Like, of course I will. No one wants to hear it, but let's go. I have opinions.
But yeah, that's awesome. So grab the trades this summer. You got June. You got Where Monsters Live Volume 2. You got Kill Them All hardcover. You got Those Not Afraid coming out this summer. In August, pick those up. Pre-order them, all that stuff. Follow Kyle Starks on social media for updates and stuff like that.
Big announcement in August too. Also, we're doing the Kickstarter in August. So
yeah, and you have a book being announced on San Diego, right? So San Diego Comic-Con, you got a book announcement or something. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Mm-hmm. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come chat comics and stuff with us, Kyle. We'll have you back on at some point in the future. But until then,
when you do the lap,
keep it good. Keep doing things good. Okay,
thanks.
That's cool.